to this week's episode of Beneath the Label. With me is Dr. Shelley Hester, our Director of Research and Development here at Nu Skin and Pharmanex. So Shelley, we're talking metabolic processes, all the things today, right? Mm-hmm. My first question, metabolic processes. We hear the word metabolism, and I hear metabolism, and I think that's just how I process food. But it feels almost too simple. What is your metabolism, or is metabolism even a good word to use, or is it just metabolic processes? What is that?
Yeah, no, it's such a good question. And I would say if we just talk about metabolic health and eating and food, that's definitely too simplistic. Because for me, metabolic health is really about how our bodies interact with our lifestyle. So it encompasses things like how do our bodies respond to the foods we eat, to how we respond to physical activity, even how we respond to sleep. So it's these complex biochemical processes, things like blood glucose, blood triglycerides, blood cholesterol, blood pressure, all of these different processes in our body that are impacted by these things we do every day.
And it changes as we age, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everything changes as we age. And I'm assuming, everything's got to impact your metabolic health, I would guess. How much is genetics versus lifestyle? Is most of it our lifestyle? Is it what I'm eating for breakfast more than who my parents are?
I think
Am I getting too crazy right now? But it's so hard to know.
It is a little bit of both. And I think people used to think, well, I'm healthy metabolically when I'm younger. But what research is showing, unfortunately, is that more and more people are having metabolic health issues early on. And it doesn't matter about age so much. Yes, you tend to have more metabolic disruption as you get older. But also people think, oh, if I'm a healthy weight, I'm healthy metabolically. But that's actually not true, because a lot of normal BMI individuals, normal weight people also have metabolic disruptions. So many people that would think they're metabolically healthy probably have some dysregulation. Oh gosh. Unfortunately.
Well, and so it's not like you can even say things, I don't know, how often do we hear people I wish I had the same metabolism I had when I was 20. Mm-hmm. So sure, there's some truth to that, but
no, there's definitely truth to it. But I think it's definitely a lot of our lifestyle. Our lifestyle, how we're interacting.
How can you tell then if you can't just, I feel like all the general pop, not not PhD level, people like you, I just think, as long as I'm in this 10-pound range, I'm healthy. I gauge a lot of things, how do I feel when I'm exercising? How well am I sleeping? I will say I do watch a lot of things for myself. But if it's not just that my weight is healthy, how can you tell if you have good metabolic health?
Yeah, weight is definitely an indicator, but it's not the only indicator, right? And I think part of it is looking at those levels that you get potentially if you're tracking your glucose or your triglycerides, on your own or with a doctor, are those starting to creep up? I think things like you said, are you not sleeping as well? Do you feel sluggish in the afternoon? Those are kind of hints that there's something going on metabolically, but you don't always feel it.
Right.
Sometimes these things are so gradual that you don't feel a difference. So I think that's why so many people aren't that worried about metabolic health, but they have, some issues.
Well, I'm probably not aware of what our metabolic health is. I'm pretty good about going to the doctor every year and getting my blood panel done. Just as a woman during my childbearing years, I kind of just got in the habit of it. But I think a lot of adults don't actually get blood panels and know where we are. But I do think things like glucose monitoring and things are starting to help us take our own health into our hands, right? Because if you're not going to the doctor and getting your blood work, I don't know what my blood triglycerides are without going and getting a blood handled and what's normal, and stuff. So
And metabolic health is so interesting, right? Because it really is impacted by, like I mentioned earlier, our lifestyle. And so how we respond to the foods may be different now than it was a few years ago.
Oh, for sure.
That's another really important point.
And the other thing I want to get into meta. So metabolic health with how you react with food. Is it also where it's your lifestyle, but it could be, so I'm a pretty avid distance runner. I'm going to have different metabolic health, different days, depending on if I am running or not, if I'm doing a tempo run versus a really long run. That's going to impact the way that I'm utilizing, I'm assuming, the food that I eat as well, and how I sleep and stuff, right? So it's not like it's every 10 years this changes. It can change regularly.
Yeah, every day and throughout the day even. Even something as little, you don't have to go out for even a 10-mile run. It can be just as simple as taking a walk. After you eat, that impacts your blood glucose.
Really?
Parameters. Yeah, so that's one of the easiest things you can do is just take a short walk after you eat, and that can bring...
So if you have a high, probably carbohydrate meal, 20-minute walk, 5-minute walk, any amount of walk,
I think,
but do something.
It's better than just sitting. And how many times do we eat lunch and then sit at our desk?
Well, and let's be honest, people my age were probably told don't go swimming after you eat because you'll die. So maybe I'm nervous to work out after.
Get to wait an hour.
Things people said that were not true. Yeah, you shouldn't wait an hour. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Just lifestyle advice is like, after you eat. It's nice here because I feel like since I work in an office, I actually usually walk to lunch. And so at least I have a little bit of a walk back to my office. But I love that like little life hack right there. Just let's all go for a walk after lunch and after dinner for a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not just about eating, exercise, sleep, even like your lifestyle stress that you're having, like mental stress. I mean, those all impact your metabolic health. So it's pretty complex.
I mean, for sure. Right. How much you're exercising, when you're exercising, it sounds like that matters. How much you're sleeping, what age you are, what gender you are, where your hormones are, what your stress level is. Like, and those are changing every day.
Exactly.
Every day. Okay. But I feel like at PharmaNex, we'll talk specifically for Nu Skin PharmaNex, right? But I feel like PharmaNex, we have really done some research into metabolic health. And the product that we have that is very focused on metabolic health is Meta. Now, 7 years to develop this product.
Yeah.
Like what happened during those 7 years?
Yeah. So I would say we started in a very different place than where we ended up.
Really?
So it was a really fun, discovery process with Meta. So when we started our work with Meta, which is all about anthocyanins, we're going to say that a lot.
So what's an anthocyanin? Okay. Let's define that since before you start dropping it, like it's the word and.
So anthocyanins are these colored pigments that have health benefits.
And are they usually the purple color?
Purple, red, and like strawberry. Okay. Like the dark purple you see in like blueberries, blackberries. That
red wine has anthocyanins.
Yeah.
As of the dark grapes. All grapes or mainly red grapes?
No, it's the red.
So people, white wine doesn't have anthocyanins, but red wine does.
Stick to the berries. But so they're colored pigments that have these health benefits. They're really strong antioxidants. So where we started is we were really interested in finding a unique compound that would impact GI or intestinal health.
Okay.
And so we actually saw some research at a scientific conference. We saw there were a few papers with blueberry powder actually and impacting like our microbiota.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we started. And we started with screening different anthocyanin-rich extracts in a cell culture model. This is
This is good. You go.
Okay. So it was CACO2 cells. So basically we were looking at intestinal permeability or leaky gut.
Okay.
So we basically had these intestinal cells. We added inflammation or inflammatory compound to them. And we were seeing, do these anthocyanin rich extracts have a protective effect?
Against inflammation? Okay.
Yeah. And
inflammation happens when you're in a stressed state for the most part?
If you're eating a high-fat diet, if you're doing a lot of endurance exercise, your intestinal cells can have this increase in inflammation. And so we actually showed that not all anthocyanin-rich extracts had this positive impact in this model. It was specific ones.
Okay.
And it was the specific ones that were very like dark and purple. Because anthocyanins are very complex and there's lots of different types. There's malvidin, petunidin, delphinidin, cyanidin.
I don't even know what's happening right now, but I like it.
But we found that 2 of those, delphinidin and cyanidin, were the best at having that protective effect.
Specifically for the gut lining.
Yes.
Okay.
And then what we did.
And those are found in blueberries and black rice? Bilberries and black rice. Okay.
Yeah, are really high potency of those.
Okay. What's a bilberry?
So it's just it's a different type of berry.
A different type of berry. But is it found?
A lot of times it's more like
here? Okay. So I was like, I don't know that I've seen any in the store. Okay. So it's not even something I can just like start pounding to get in my diet. Okay. So it's more in Australia. Okay. So bilberries.
And so we then moved to preclinical research and then we moved to clinical research. And during that time, we found that, these anthocyanins are really potent on your intestine, impacting like a positive microbiota. But we found the really interesting benefit was metabolic health, and that it improved your glucose response, it improved your lipid response, it improved decreasing oxidative stress and helping with inflammatory balance. And so that's really how Meta was created.
That is amazing, where it was like, but it's not that the first piece wasn't right, because we do know that it's good for
that's a mechanism,
your intestine
mechanism of action, and how it's actually having the benefits for metabolic health. But I would say we weren't shocked, but it was pretty surprising to see how impactful it was.
And as you learned this, did you have to then tweak the formulation, or did you just continue doing more knowledge base and like research?
It was a little bit of both. We did have some tweaks along the way, but more it was just building the evidence and the substantiation that we have on the blend that we now have in Meta.
Because when I read, just our approved statements, and I know nothing is approved by the FDA, but that we feel has substantiation, right? And right, you know, I mean, it talks about vital organ health, your liver and your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't testing the liver and heart at this time, but that's where, you know, because of the
preclinical study
and the triglycerides, is that
part of it?
Like the liver manages that?
Yeah. So
look at my college biology coming back out. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah. So we actually showed in the preclinical model that the animals that took the blend along with high fat diet had less fat accumulation in their livers. And then there's also been third-party studies published that have been done on that. And
your liver is so important for
metabolic health.
Yeah, metabolic health. I mean,
it's the organ that's really transporting, and
we don't just get that one removed. That is an essential organ. Same with our heart. We know that. And then we talk about how it helps with healthy inflammatory balance. So, I mean, inflammation, like when I finish marathons, like I can't put a ring on for the life of me, right? I have inflammation. I can see that swelling, and that's obviously from oxidative stress that I'm putting on my body. But how did you guys figure this out? And why is that so important? Why is inflammation not good for our body long term, right?
So again, I'm probably going to get a little nervous.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. So inflammation in the body it can be caused through our GI tracts. So the bacteria in our gut have a compound in their cell walls called LPS, or lipopolysaccharide. And so when you consume a high-fat diet, more of that LPS component is absorbed. And that's a bad thing, because the LPS gets into our circulation and our blood, and it actually stimulates more inflammation or dysregulates your inflammatory balance. And so what happens in your GI system, it's signaled throughout the body systemically. So then you have worse inflammatory balance throughout your body. So we actually showed that in our preclinical model, but we also showed it in a clinical study as well.
Which is so interesting. I mean, all the pieces fit together, obviously, but it's like you were looking specifically at the gut. And if that's where inflammation kind of stems from or starts, that makes so much
signals it throughout the body, because you're basically having
and then I have my fingers that I can't put a ring on. But it's weird. It's weird for me to think that it all started just from, but it also makes sense because that's where all your foods be. I mean, our gut is so important.
It is
like we know that. Yeah. I mean, she's a critical player right there, because everything's going through your digestives.
Yeah. And anthocyanins are really unique in that they're larger compounds. So they actually get to that large intestine where we have
so they're not broken down at
And that's where they're broken down. So a lot of times it's the anthocyanins directly having their impact in the intestine, but it's also their metabolites. So when those anthocyanins are broken down by those bacteria, we have metabolites that are then absorbed, get into the circulation, have those positive effects.
And most of that happens in the large intestine.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then those metabolites are what's really signaling the body to have less oxidative stress and have healthier inflammatory balance overall. So it is really cool.
Now, blood glucose, because we know that this helps maintain a healthy blood glucose. And it's kind of a long-term play with blood glucose, right? Like it's not, just, and we'll talk about MSMART in a minute.
Yes.
But so for Meta, it's like overall healthy blood glucose. How does that work with
I like to think of Meta as kind of like this foundational product, right? It's kind of like this, you're just helping your overall metabolic health and having less oxidative stress, less issues with inflammatory balance, so that you have a healthier metabolic response. But we've shown in clinical studies that even just with one dose, you are able to impact the blood glucose levels. But of course, that'll be even greater if you take it daily over time.
So just kind of consistency. Exactly. It's not that you need to up your dosage, you just need to take it consistently. And that was studied that it's kind of 30 days.
Yeah. I mean, we have studies with one dose, but we've also done longer studies. Yeah.
And I guess for me, there's a lot of products that we take that I can feel a difference. I don't feel a difference when I take Meta. Now, I don't miss a day without taking it, because I have seen our science. I mean, you and Dr. Joe Chang are like, this is a product you don't go without taking. So I simply do. I take it. I never go without it, but I don't necessarily feel a difference. But it's because it's all those processes, right? That
and
it's not like quick energy or other things or bloating after a meal, like our new Biome, where you can feel that. This is a product that you need to take because it is just helping your body function better.
In longer
where
term.
It should be in longer term. Okay.
I mean, it's just a lot of times you can't feel, right?
Right.
Your oxidative stress or your inflammatory balance, but just to know that you're having those healthier responses day to day, I mean, it's really impactful all the time.
I love that. Okay. So let's talk about, we already talked about you can't really get enough of this from your diet. Or the specific ones we did.
Exactly.
Like how many bilberries would you have to eat? I don't even know if you can buy black rice. Can you buy black rice?
Buy it. I mean, I definitely think like blueberries, I think that's the best thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Here, it'd be about a cup and a half of blueberries a day, which is
It's doable.
It's doable.
But are you going to do that every single day? And which one is
and you
honestly like cheaper and easy?
I'll fit it in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to do both.
So if you can't get Meta, eat your blueberries.
I take my Meta and
you eat your blueberries. Blueberries, they're a great one. Yeah. Okay. So it's not that you shouldn't do both, but again, it's that proper blend and amount. And it is a lot easier to take Meta when you need these.
Yeah. And it's definitely doable. But if you actually look at intake data of anthocyanins, I think the average intake is around 25 milligrams of anthocyanins, and you need 200 or more.
Oh, so that's,
So it's possible, but we know people aren't.
But most people get a tenth of what they need. Okay. That's really good, because 10 times more, that's a good amount. Yeah. And most people would probably do one instead of that blend. So I love that. Okay. So what are some companion products that we have that go really well with Meta? I mean, we've kind of been talking about the gut. So I'm guessing New Biome is a good companion.
Yeah, I think New Biome is really good. Just having that more like that focused benefit, digestive health and bloating. I think ProBio, PCC is another really great. If you're looking at GI health. I also think MSmart is really great. So we think of Meta as more of kind of this overall supporting metabolic health product, where MSmart is more focused on having that healthier response, especially
immediately, right?
Immediately.
Because you take it right before. Same with like because New Biome's an immediate, I guess it has a long-term benefit as well.
I mean, really, you get that immediate benefit, but it's also having that long-term.
And ProBio PCC is a long-term benefit as well. So you kind of have Meta and ProBio that are like, you might not feel an immediate difference, but you want them for long-term metabolic and gut health,
digestion.
And I do take all of these. Well, MSmart is brand new, so I take
as soon as you can.
Yeah. And then New Biome, because it is helping with the pre and post biotics, and specifically with your digestion of your meal, right? Like that
exactly.
Reaction that causes bloating, which I don't know if that's inflammation or not now. I have no idea what causes bloating. I've got my mind is spinning with all these things. And then MSmart, I mean, you can just mix it right with your New Biome right before your biggest meal of the day. But it's going to work hand in hand with Meta.
Yeah. And Meta, you don't have to take it with a meal. You can take it on its own. They're not fat-soluble nutrients. So you can take it without food. Does it matter if you do, because it's 4 of the little soft gels. I always split mine 2 morning, 2 night. Does it matter? Do you need all 4 at once? Is it better to split? I don't know if it matters, actually. In this case, when we studied it, we just gave it all at once, but I don't think there'd be any problem with splitting it in this case.
And when you studied it, did you do it all in the morning, all at night?
I don't know if we specified.
It was just, you just took it, you just took 4
once a day.
Once a day.
Yeah.
Well, now, I mean, I've been taking it. I split it just so that I have even number of pills. I don't know. I guess I always assume, and this isn't specific to Meta, but if it's a long-term product, I almost always split morning and night just to kind of have it consistently in my body. Yeah. And I think that's just how my mind thinks it needs to work.
And that's where my mind was going. Like with the pharmacokinetics, it makes sense, right? Because anthocyanins, the metabolites are processed quite quickly, but they last for quite a few hours. So I do think
so you just always have it in your system.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are things like our R2 day that you take in the day because you don't want ginseng at night or whatever. But yeah, things like Youth and Meta and Life Pack,
I think everybody
split them to kind of have it all the time in my body. I just feel
I'm taking it more in the morning because then I'll forget at night.
It's just like, again, it's about just taking it, right? The number one most important thing is being consistent and taking it daily, which is why this is one of our top subscriptions products, because people know that they need to just take this product consistently. So 4 soft gels. Okay. Trying to think if there's anything else we talked about. The diets, anthocyanins, developing this, blood glucose. We don't need to take more as we get older.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just the consistency.
Yeah, I would say consistency.
That's amazing. And so I guess my final thought is like, the gut is so important, but you need to hit it from different angles. Like that's kind of how I feel like they're doing all these different things.
I mean, the gut is so important, right? You have to support it with prebiotics, postbiotics, and really, it's complex.
And blood glucose is your body's response to the food you eat, or just to carbohydrates? Carbohydrates. Simple and complex. However you're eating carbohydrates. Your blood glucose is your body's breaking those down and turning them into fuel.
Yeah. I mean, that's
why we want a healthy response of it.
Yeah. I mean, you want the glucose, purpose, but if you have too much glucose, then it stimulates the uptake and processing, and then you store them as fat. So you have to have that balance.
That makes a lot of sense. Like on how it works. Because blood glucose is just a word that I hear all the time, but I'm like, isn't it good? So it's good.
It's good if you're running 20
but it needs to be the right amount.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw a meme that said, it said, stop hating on sugar. Nothing got me through mile 20 better than sugar. And I'm like,
So true.
okay, but that's probably the only time you need straight sugar is when you need a quick response to mile 20. But I mean, I don't hate on carbs or sugar. And I think carbohydrates have a bad rap and they don't deserve it because I think we just eat too many of them and too many simple probably.
Exactly,
but
not the right
as
types.
a woman, I feel like I need carbohydrates for my brain to function right, to like feel good, for energy, to keep going. Like carbohydrates are important.
Yeah. And I think
We just need to
everybody's
manage different, right?
Right. And I think something that we haven't talked about, and I feel like meta is really important in impacting like metabolic flexibility, right? And so this is like a whole other concept, but that's basically your body's ability to switch between using fat or carbohydrate or glucose as a fuel.
And meta helps.
And so, I mean, meta is helping you have a better response to just how you're processing the foods and your lifestyle. So I do feel like just a healthy lifestyle along with meta can help you have better metabolic flexibility, which is so important to what you're saying.
And our body was made to, I mean, the whole reason that our body takes carbohydrates and stores, like our body was made to create energy for us. But having that right response is important. So eating at the right times of the day, eating the right amount of food, exercising the right. I love the idea of exercising right after you eat. Like these are like great, healthy things. And then we have these products that will enhance it a little bit more as you're making the right life choices. So I love that because I really think that carbs get a bad rap. And carbs are my friend. I protect them in a lot of settings. I love carbs. I do. I don't come at me, guys, if you hate carbs because I will fight you on it. But it's because I need them for what I'm doing. But I love that we're thinking about how do you process and utilize them
properly to those carbs.
Yeah.
Right.
And get my carbs in the vegetables. I get it. I know. Eat my cup of blueberries. That's a good carb to eat. No, I love that. Anything else that you feel like
I can't think of anything
people need to know? Because I think that is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, again, I just feel like meta is a very like a foundational product that, again, it's not something you might feel right away. But it's one of those things that you need to take long term to have those benefits.
And everybody, whether you're in your 20s, 80s, male, female, metabolic health
for sure
it's important the whole time. You don't wait and take this when
you have metabolic issues.
Yeah, you don't wait for it. You take care of it before. Yeah. Okay, I think that's important too. Is like this product was formulated for all adults. Yeah.
And the clinical study we did that I mentioned that is just with one dose, that was in a healthy young population. I want to say they were 18 to 35 years old. So that's a pretty young population.
That's when most of us think about when our metabolism was the best.
Exactly. And we still showed a benefit with when given with like a high fat, high carbohydrate meal. So it really is beneficial for.
That's so good. Shelley, thank you. Thanks for being on here.
Very fun.
I learned a ton. I heard a lot of words that I'm going to have to go look up because I don't know all of them, but we need the science. I'm so just grateful for just your knowledge. And I love that we spent 7 years researching amazing product and that we have companion products that go with it, including a brand new and in March. So awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.